Okay, Gab, I've invited you to the call, so you should be able to join. Just waiting for Gab. So maybe if you can request, hi Judith, if you can request to join Gab. I don't know if you see that anywhere. Just look around your little screen. It seems better from the phone. I actually see that I can invite you. And it looks like you've been invited already. So I don't see you as watching. I'm just gonna write to you here. So we're just gonna wait. You can just take a sip, make something warm. We're gonna have a really amazing interview with Gabrielle Hélène from Gaspésie. We're just waiting for her to come on. I can see she sees that I'm texting her. We're just having some tech issues. We'll just wait for a couple more minutes. Okay, so now you're liking it. Do you see, Gab, anywhere on your screen like an invite to join broadcast? Hi. Okay, good. This is a good start. Gab, do you see anywhere on your screen? Oh, there we go. You saw it. Okay, let me just invite you. Approve. Add. Adding.
Hello?
There. Hello.
Oh my goodness, technology, eh?
Technology, but we did it.
Did it. I'm so sorry for the wait.
It's okay.
Um, my iPad is now dead, and also my dog was acting as if I was a terrible mother. So we're gonna do the interview outside.
Okay. Gorgeous, gorgeous out like backdrop that you're in. So nice.
Thank you. You look beautiful.
Oh, thanks. I did a little put on some eyebrows, dried my hair.
Your skin looks amazing. Is that immortelle?
It's immortelle every day and night,
Every damn day.
every damn day. Okay, so welcome. This is an interview with Gab. Gab has I've known her since last August. We met at Wanderlust Tremblant, and she then joined and started using the oils and sharing them, and she's just really inspired me in many ways. So I wanted to share her story, or have Gab share her story. So why don't you start, Gab, just to jump in? I just want people to know a little bit of your background, like before dōTERRA, just sort of like work mostly. You can also share life, of course. Um, yeah, can you share that with us?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, and the feelings are completely reciprocal. You also inspire me every day, so I'm just ecstatic to be here. I want to start by saying the oils I'm wearing right now,
Yeah.
because yeah, because it's no small feat to do a live video. I think everyone who does that knows that there's a certain level of like discomfort. So whenever I do videos, I put Melaleuca on.
Mhm.
And I also have this like goddess blend that I made with like patchouli and Siberian fir. So that's what I'm wearing right now.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, so I've been an independent contractor. I've had my own company as long as I can remember because I didn't I had a very hard I have some generational trauma around authority, I think. So which is actually just a very fancy, like esoteric way to say I don't like it when people tell me what to do. So I've always been my own boss. I've always worked as a contractor. And my training, I have an honors degree with a specialization in contemporary choreography,
Cool.
a minor in, yeah, it is cool. A minor in jazz vocal, as well as a specialization in prevention of dance injuries. And I'm also an 18-year yogi. So I've been practicing yoga since the age of 15 and teaching it for about 10 years. Um, so that's a little bit about my background. I was always the person that um, kind of was able to do anything. Like if someone needed something done and they asked me, I'd find a way to do it.
Mhm.
Just because I realized very early on that if I was going to be my own boss, I needed to diversify my offers of service. Um,
So smart.
so I've done quite a bit of management in gyms, health and wellness, and then I kind of started after university. I was also I was head of community for Lole women at the Westmount Atelier for about 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a very diverse background in terms of education and employment.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so tell me your, we call it our like doTERRA story. Like how did you go from having like no doTERRA in your life to like what was that transition to it coming into your life?
First of all, you know what I thought of this morning? And I was actually like cry laughing alone in my bathroom. And Frank was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm reliving the most amazing memory." Do you know what the very first memory I have of you is? Oh, sorry. Um, of you taking a boomerang of me in Nat Kakon's like blacklight boogie class. Do you remember that?
Now I do
So
say it.
funny. So funny. So it's so amazing that like if I actually think back to the initiation of my doTERRA journey, that's it. And I journaled about it this morning because what I think is spectacular and what I think is such an important teachable moment for everyone. Okay, I have to go inside. The bugs are like, what's such an important teachable moment, I think, for people who are wanting to build the business is that it's very rare that people's or from what I understand, it's very rare that people's doTERRA experience starts with the oils. I think it starts with the first contact. You know what
Mm,
I mean?
totally.
Um,
I'd say that's true.
so I just think that's incredible because the actual genesis of doTERRA for me is you and I dancing in that class together. It's not you being like, "Hey, have you heard of doTERRA?" It wasn't like that. It was super organic and like epic and hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah,
I love
sorry, that's a huge side note. But anyways,
that. I love it.
um,
It's good.
I've been working with essential oils on and off in my yoga practice for years. I love essential oils. My information and experience was limited to eucalyptus. I was like obsessed with eucalyptus. Used it in a lot of my meditation practice. Um, but I didn't know more than that about essential oils. And then you and I met at Wanderlust, and that's when I first started hearing about doTERRA, the company. And it's really funny because when I saw my folks a little while later, I mentioned doTERRA. Oh, sorry,
Yeah, August 2017, right? Like
2017.
just under a
Yeah,
year. Yeah, go. Yeah.
just under a year. Yeah. And my parents actually were like, "Oh yeah, doTERRA," because my we grew up zero fragrance in the house. We have very like a lot of skin and aroma sensitivity in my family to perfumes, everything that's chemical. Like they weren't. It was a no scent zone in my house. Um, and when I mentioned doTERRA, I was like having dinner with my family. And I like classically, because of the narrative I had in my mind, expected them to be like, "Oh, you're doing another weird." Blah, blah, blah." And my dad actually was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, doTERRA. Like, I love their products. They're the only oils that don't make me react."
Oh my God,
And
I
I
remember.
was like, "What?" Mind blown. Um, so yeah, and then so we chatted at Wanderlust, and then like, started the teaching year, and kind of didn't think more of it than that. And then the BOGOs came along, and I think you texted me
Yeah.
and you were like, Gabs, BOGO week. Check out today's special. I feel like these are things that would be interesting for you. And I was like, amazing, let's do it. And then I signed up with the Motivation and Peace BOGO,
Yeah.
which, by the way, are still two of my favorite go-to oils, and it's very rare I go a day without wearing them.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of the story.
So you started there. I remember that. And I think before going forward, I'd like to know, like, around that moment of getting the oils, were, did you have reservations, or was there stuff you had to get through, or were there narratives around like a membership, like all of that kind of stuff of just getting the oils before building was even on your radar because it wasn't back then.
Yeah, all of the above.
Yeah.
Where do you want me to start? It was literally like I was a deambulating body that was surrounded by like four brick walls, and I was like going through life with these brick walls around me. Um,
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing was financially. I think that's probably the most important shift. Sorry, give me 1 second. Dako, come. Sorry, guys. You all have hairless babies. I have a four-footed hairy baby. Um, yeah, I think financially that was the biggest thing. The idea that because as an independent contractor, anyone who has a small business, anyone who's kind of been doing it on their own for a while, finances, I think, are the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing that comes up. Never having enough, living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where, how you're going to pay those bills, etc. So the idea to me that I had enough financial looseness in my monthly budget to afford oils was, to me, it was a non possibility.
Right.
I didn't like the idea of having to pay a membership fee.
Yes, I remember that.
I didn't like that idea at all. And it's funny because I think back on so many of these things, or I even look back on like journal entries from back then, and I giggle now, but I remember at the time they were very triggering. They were some
Yeah.
pretty intense blocks.
Yeah.
Um,
$42 membership fee, but because I guess it was you get a piece and you get Motivate for free. So a piece,
yes.
they're not, I guess piece I can't remember in bad. It's like 20, 25 or something. So what made you though do the $42 to get them at wholesale rather than just get it retail? Because you could have done that too at that point.
That's a really hard question because it's hard for me to put myself back in that space, but I honestly think it was you. I think you were the factor. Um,
This will be a better choice because it is. Yeah.
yeah, like I think you just kind of financially were like, listen, uh, if you pay the membership fee, you have an entire year to test out the oils and see if you like them. And if they don't work for you, you don't have to renew. Like, I think it
Simple.
was kind of just like, do this. This is the price. We add on $42. That's your membership fee. And like, that's it. Um,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you got the oils, and then tell me like experientially, because you say they're both two of your favorites. So what did they do in your body, and how do they continue to support you? Like specifically, how do you feel when you use them?
Peace is such a special blend, and like if anyone is watching this who hasn't tried peace, I can't recommend it enough. It's very calming. I find it soft as an aroma, and I think that was an important gateway for me in that I needed to start out with something that wasn't too intense aromatically, especially since we had at home been so fragrance free. I think the more intense oils may have scared me off. And I just started using it right away on pulse points, my neck, my wrists, around my belly button. I used it when I was teaching, and it really felt like a friend. Like I don't know how else to describe it. It felt like, yeah, a friend just like had their hand on my shoulder while I was teaching. That's what peace felt like. I hated Motivate when I got it.
No way, I didn't know that.
Yes, I hated Motivate, and I think that's really funny in that not only did I have certain like blocks about paying the initial fee and then like, okay, do I have the money to buy myself like essential oils right now? And then I get one of the essential oils and I couldn't. I would smell it and I was like, oh, the fuck is this? Like, it smells like candy canes and it's not Christmas anymore. Like it was just, it was, yeah. But you know what's really funny about Motivate is that I stuck with it in that I was like, I bought this, like there's no way I'm giving up on it. So
Wow.
slowly I would every day, there's so many mosquitoes in my house. Where's my Terra shield? Um, every day I would go back to it in a very like, I didn't wear it right away. I started with the, and I think it's Christine Norton who actually wrote about this technique of just approaching it slowly and smelling it and then moving away and doing that incrementally. And it's funny, I fell into like a rush with classes and I had too many contracts and I had a show that was here at one point, and I remember waking up one day and being like just exhausted and like, how am I going to get through my day? And I picked up my Motivate roller and I smelled it and it lit my entire body up. And I
Wow.
was like, okay, now my body wants Motivate. And I think it's because I really needed it. I didn't need peace. I didn't need like to calm my nervous system. I needed like to light a fire under my ass. And that's what it did. And since then, I'm in love with the
Wow.
aroma. If I'm working or teaching, it's always in my bag.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
The normal interaction, or I hear that often with the oils. Judith, who's watching, actually told me an analogy that I love, that she's like, when you see someone for the first time, you have that initial judgment or idea of who they are, like, oh, this person's like this. And then you like spend a little bit more time with them and a little bit more, and all these layers get revealed, and you get to know someone, and often they're very different than what your first perception was. And I find the oils are really similar, and sometimes people at first maybe they throw you off because of where you're at, or I'll speak for myself where I'm at, but then when I meet them later in a different context, we're like besties.
Yes. And I think the blends do that too a lot, you know, because the blends have so many different layers and because they have several oils as well, they
Mhm.
can surprise you in that sometimes you need something in the blend, but something else is maybe not necessarily what you need in that moment. So there's kind of like a shift that happens in your body of, you know, receiving without kind of, you know, because I think, and I'm a yogi and I know you are, so this will probably maybe resonate with you, but you know, we're so stuck in this idea of, oh, I like this and I don't like this, that often we create blocks in terms of what we can receive and our openness to things because our judgment creates a barrier between the experience and what we believe the experience is supposed to be. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Totally.
um, you know, for example, fennel, or as I like to call it, fucking fennel, you know, that it's not an aroma that has ever really worked for me. But I think because I've had that narrative, I kind of stayed away from the whole digest zen and zen just line for a while. And now the digest zen is something that I take almost daily as a supplement, you know? So I think it's just really, the oils are really incredible in that they really teach you a lot about narratives that maybe don't serve you. Like, why are you holding on to that idea, you know?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. and that's a perfect segue into then where did you go from, okay, I'm gonna get my BOGO, my $42 membership in November, end of November. And now we just started July. So let's say that's just like 7 or 8 months where I've seen you go from, I'm just gonna use these oils to like, I'm gonna start sharing to like, I'm doing now these epic videos like every week. I'm like totally in and I've attracted my first builder and I'm designing my summer around what I can do. Like how did you go from that to where we are now?
Mm. I think there was two things.
Yeah.
The first one is that I wanted free oils.
Yes, I remember that.
Can we just be real for a second here?
Yeah, it's
It's
all
all fun and games to serve,
yeah.
but I really liked getting free oils. um, and I think the other thing is that my zone of genius, the thing I love more than anything else, is teaching
Yeah,
and is sharing knowledge and learning. Actually, not just teaching, because I don't think I'm just this, I don't think I'm some, like savant. I love learning. And what I found is the best way for me to learn in my body is to teach others and to have kind of an exchange. Um, so I think once I started experiencing the oils and just loving them, like really falling in love with them every single day, it was a natural development for me to want the people I care about to have access to them.
totally.
And I think that's what made it a natural transition to me. I think the other thing too is that I have a network of students, kind of all around the world, but especially in Gaspé now, and them seeing me use these tools in my yoga and dance and creative practice, they were naturally curious. So I kind of felt a certain responsibility of I need to inform myself to be able to actually speak about these tools in an authentic way where I wasn't just like bullshitting, where I was able to actually concretely give information and also valid information, not just, oh, you put this here and it makes you feel good. And no, 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 the science behind it. Um, the science behind how they source the oils, kind of the philanthropy that dōTERRA does, because
Yeah.
those are all things that are very important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I love about what you've done, Gab. So much of like it's driven by so much integrity. And I know you joked like I wanted free oils, but really take seriously your role as a teacher and service.
Yeah.
And I love that perspective and take on it because I think a lot of people feel like when they're starting to get into doTERRA, like, am I annoying by educating? But you're just more like, no, it's kind of my duty, the same way it's your duty to like share how to do a yoga pose in a safe way.
Yeah.
It's your duty to share that these tools are available to people if they want to, to feel a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing is, there's so many things that come up. I was talking to my oil bestie Amanda about this a couple weeks ago. Actually, I think she's on the call. Hi. Um, just about the idea of like being salesy or, it's funny because I think we all have different doTERRA stories, but a lot of people who are building and sharing come up against similar blocks. And I
Yeah.
think one of the biggest themes that comes back is about how to share from a place of integrity, how not to bother people, how not to, I think we're conditioned, especially as women, and this is my intersectional feminist coming out, and she'll only rear her head once, so I won't get too preachy about it. But I think we're conditioned not to be bothersome, you
Mhm.
know? Fuck that. I'm totally down to bother people if it's to help them empower themselves, to give them options in terms of preventative medicine, in terms of, I think a perfect example is headaches. Everyone has headaches. Everyone's stressed. Everyone's overtired. So they're all munching Tylenol like it's Werther's candy. You know how bad that is for your stomach lining? Oh my glob. Not good. If I can help 1 or 2 or 10 people reach for their peppermint roller or their peppermint beadlet first to support their nervous system, their immune system, and to avoid eating away at their stomach lining with chemicals, overpriced chemicals, then I'm accomplishing what I want to get done in my day. And that's it. It's as simple as that.
Oh my God. So good. So good. Another thing that I love and I want you to share because I think this can really inspire people is that really in the last month, I'd say 6 weeks, you've really started doing these delightful, hilarious, educational videos in our closed Facebook group. So if you're not in that essential practice group, you haven't seen them, and you're clearly, like anyone watching sees, you're very naturally expressive and hilarious and vibrant. But I know that you've been nervous to get to share. So what would you say for someone, because I know there's definitely people on my team who want to move into the like online space and share authentically, and do sort of Facebook lives, but they feel nervous. What would you say to them? And just what works for you? Like how did you start doing these?
That's such an important question. Thank you for asking it.
You're
I
welcome.
was chatting with Alicia V, who I think's on Tracy Keogh's team last week, and we were talking about photos and videos live and like the kind of discomfort that comes along with those. And I've been journaling a lot about this because I have been creating a lot more videos. For a very long time, it was very difficult for me to watch myself on camera. I never did lives because the idea of being on live and not being able to edit would give me like severe cramps. And there's a few things. And we talked about this morning in our team call, the idea of expanding and stepping out of your comfort zone.
Hmm.
You know, can I answer this with like a visual, like a
Please,
story?
please.
So my niece came and visited last week, and she she's legit. I have no words to describe how epic she is. I'm so obsessed with her, and she is my most extraordinary teacher.
How old is she?
She's 10. She's 10. And I had this like very intense vision of her coming home to me one day because she's had, I mean, kids are like, kids test limits, right? Kids are mean. And not mean because I don't think kids have inherent malice, but I think they test limits and they test things that they see and hear to see the reactions it'll get from people. They're very curious naturally.
Mhm.
And I had this vision of my niece coming home and saying to me with tears through her eyes, someone told me today that I can't be an astronaut because I'm a girl or for whatever reason. So just the idea that this beautiful young person full of excitement and light and curiosity and enthusiasm would believe that she is not able to follow her dreams because so and so said so, or because she comes from a certain economical whatever, or because she's a girl and not a boy, etc. So I had this very intense vision that came to me, and I kept seeing the pattern, and I saw it in my sleep, and I had to journal about it, of her coming home in tears and believing that someone telling her she wasn't good enough or pretty enough or smart enough made it so that she didn't follow her dreams. And I kept having this visual, and I woke up with this aha moment that we are my niece.
Hmm.
we are those little girls who, for however long, have believed either other people saying we can't do what we want to do, or our own mind telling us that we're not skinny enough, we're not smart enough, we're not worthy enough to do whatever it is our heart tells us to. I believed for a very long time that I wasn't pretty enough, that I wasn't smart enough, that I didn't have enough experience, that I didn't have enough knowledge to be able to create videos that people would watch and appreciate. I believed that narrative, a narrative that I invented and that I repeated to myself regularly. I believed that. So by making the choice to no longer believe those mixtapes, those gremlins, that terrible shit that my mind would tell me, it unlocked a world of things that I now have access to. Making videos, reaching out to people, sending people messages and being like, hey, I'm going to make a roller blend with some oils today and drink some coffee. Do you want to come over and do that with me? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We are those little girls and little boys, and those narratives that we believe, we have a choice to say, you know what? You were serving a certain purpose for a very long time. You no longer serve that purpose, so I'm going to let you go now.
Mm. Totally.
And that's not to say that they're not valid, and that's not to say that certain circumstances aren't true and aren't obstacles, but it's to say we get to choose what we give importance to and who is our boss. And no one is my boss anymore.
So good. So which is the favorite video that you've made to date?
Anything with Choop. She just kills me. Like the one we made last week, the oil tasting video that her and I did.
That was
I just
so
like cry when I watch it because she's so funny. She's just so naturally vibrant and hilarious.
so funny.
I really enjoyed another very close friend of mine, Parneet Chauhan, was on two of my calls when I did Oils for Travel series, and she's this extraordinary like somatic therapist.
Yeah.
And I loved doing videos with her because she's just so brilliant. You know, I really like doing videos with other people because it makes you think of aspects that you wouldn't think of on your own, you know?
Totally. And it's really nice to watch two people in connection.
Yeah.
It's so fun to watch you and your niece just like cracking each other up and sharing these oils. It's like, it's great.
Yeah, she's pretty hilarious. Absolutely.
I think we'll wrap up soon, but what are the favorite oils that you're using now?
Patchouli.
Really? Awesome.
I love patchouli. I find it's very polarized, patchouli.
Yeah.
It's a pretty intense aroma.
Even as you say that, I'm like, oh God, I know so many people don't like it.
I know, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay because again, we go into that idea of, oh, they like it or they don't like it. Patchouli is the oil of embodiment. And no matter who you are, whether you attribute like or dislike to it, you have a visceral reaction to patchouli. I like things that make me feel something. No one on earth can smell patchouli and not feel something, whether it's disgust or joy or whatever, your body reacts. So if we can get away from this idea of, oh, this is a bad reaction or good reaction, and just be present with the fact that, oh, my body is responding to this aroma, then I think there's something to learn from that. Arbor Vitae is my jam right now. And Siberian Fir. All very like spicy, like wake up, get in your body oils. I think my favorite oil of all time, and I have commitment issues, so this is big for me to say, but I really like cypress. I really like cypress. Pardon me?
Is it the oil of commitment?
Is that what it is?
Oh, no. I don't know because you said
oh, no. I should figure out what the oil of commitment is and start working with that more. Yeah, I just think cypress is good for everything. And I
Mhm.
think it's similar, it has similar aromatic properties to eucalyptus, which I used for so many years, you know? So I think it's just a natural development from my love of eucalyptus.
Amazing. Oh, Gab, thank you for all of this. This has been so good. When will you start making videos just on your own live page so that people who aren't in essential practice can also watch you?
Very soon. I also, again, questions of letting go of old narratives. I just thought that I was a technological like loser for a really long time. And in the past 2 weeks, I've updated and completely revamped my website.
Yes,
I'm
which is
saving
what?
everything to my cloud.
Can you give
Pardon
people
me?
the can you give people the link to what it is?
Yes, I would love to get
I'll
more
post it here
hits.
too. I'll post it here as well.
Okay, amazing. It's salvosmovement.wordpress.com.
Okay,
Um,
Salvos,
and
Salvos. Salvos
yep,
Movement. Awesome.
yes, exactly. Um, so now this is one of my projects right now is completely just backing everything up, saving my videos and whatnot. I'm going to open a Vimeo account to house all my videos on and then direct link them to my website.
Amazing.
So that's coming up very soon.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I love you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for having me and listening to my like philosophical rants. I appreciate it.
I listen all the time. And I'll link Gabby's profile here so you can check her out. And any questions or anything, just comment below or you can message either one of us. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
Bye. Bye, love.